News Talk 1070 KHMO presents On the Mark with Mark Hespin. News Talk 1070 KHMO presents On the Mark with Mark Hespin. On the Mark is powered by Kunis Country Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area at 221 North 36th Street, Quincy. Faith, family, and giving back. That's Kunis Country. And now, here's Mark Hespin.
Good morning, Tri-States, and wherever you may be listening on the News Talk 1070 KHMO app. This is On the Mark. I am Mark Hespin. Brought to you by Kunis Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. You got to ask them about that lifetime powertrain warranty, the no-fear warranty on new and used vehicles. Tell them Mark sent you. Well, welcome on into the show this Saturday morning, broadcasting live from our KHMO studios here in Quincy. You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Mark Hespin, MarkHespen. You can follow the show. Just search On the Mark KHMO on Facebook. This is episode 203 of On the Mark. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous weekend in the Tri-States. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous weekend for a full slate of football. Shout out to the Hannibal Pirates last night. Huge win. QHS, huge win as well. Keep my eye on those two programs having really, really nice starts to their high school football seasons. But we have a gorgeous slate of college football today. So many great games. We'll touch on that. We will break down the entire Week 3 NFL season, including my lock of the week and my upset of the week. I got a push last week, so I'm 0-3-1 in my gambling picks so far this year. I like the picks today, though. I think we're going to have a bounce back week. And then if we have time at the end, little baseball talk, even a little NBA talk. Damian Lillard, some interesting comments out of him, and some sleeper teams might be getting involved in the Damian Lillard trade if we have time for it. Let's waste no more time. Let's jump into it. Hespin headline number one.
Hespin's headlines on the Mark.
The State of the Union of the Chicago Bears. What a week it was for the Chicago Bears. An embarrassing loss last Sunday in Tampa to the Buccaneers. A game that, you can understand losing to your division rival, the Green Bay Packers, week one. You can justify the loss and saying, listen, they just own us. There's certain teams that just own other teams. And you don't play well against them, division rival, first game of the season, shaking off the rust. You know what I mean? They didn't have everything in order. Missing your starting left guard and Tevin Jenkins. But all right, get right game. You're going to go down and you're going to beat Tampa week 2. And to lose to Tampa the way the Bears did, where defensively they were not competitive at times, and they made Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans look like Tom Brady and Randy Moss in their prime, or Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison in their prime. No pressure on the quarterback. Defensively was bad. And you go into that game without your defensive coordinator, out for personal reasons. We'll get to more of that here in a second. And then the way the offense just absolutely sputtered, and no inspiring big play offensive momentum, and one great throw from Justin Fields to Chase Claypool for a touchdown, but obviously the interception in the red zone is just bad loss, right? And you have this horrible taste in your mouth. And then you know that you're going to be playing at the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, week 3. And so you need to have a button-up week. You need to have a great week. You need to try to get the media, to say some right things, say some positive things, and put up a real fight, right? And what happens this week? The whole organization seems to implode. We'll start with Alan Williams, the defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. We still don't know why exactly Alan Williams stepped away, why he is no longer the defensive coordinator with the Chicago Bears, why he's no longer even in the NFL, or he's taken time away. I will say this. I trust Pat McAfee when he, on his show earlier this week, said he does believe the reports of the raid on Alan Williams' house from the FBI are true. We don't know what's going to come of this. Eventually we will, and that'll still be it'll be a lingering story for the Chicago Bears. But the defense has not played well in the first 2 weeks, and now you're without your defensive coordinator. Now, you have a defensive head coach, and he's going to call the defense for you. He did it for years in Indianapolis, and so you hope, okay, well, that should be a fairly smooth transition, right? Don't have to go out and hire someone right away. You could hopefully handle it in-house. But obviously, it's going to leave a lingering effect for these players and for everyone as the questions swirl as to what exactly happened in that situation, which we just don't know yet. I don't want to speculate, but guys don't just resign offensive and defensive coordinator jobs and coaching jobs in the NFL and hire a lawyer and give out weird press remarks for nothing, for family reasons or stepping away to work on health. So obviously we'll have to stay in touch with that story as we get more from it. And on top of that, you lose your starting left tackle, the second-year player, Braxton Jones, who is having had a really nice rookie season, was having a solid, okay start to the year, and you were hoping to build off it with some sort of neck injury placed in IR, and you're probably going to be without him now for the year. You're already missing your starting left guard, Tevin Jenkins. He was on IR before the year started. So now your entire left side of your offensive line is backups. And not only backups, but backup to the backup because your starting center is not playing center because he's filling in a guard. So you have a backup center, and your big free agent signing at guard, Nate Davis, your right guard, he hasn't played because of personal reasons as well. So you have an offensive line in shambles. You have a defense that's defensive coordinator list that has shown no teeth, even though you spent a ton of money on them in the offseason with a defensive head coach. And then, of course, what everyone's really talking about in the national media, what I'm going to spend some time here talking about over the next couple minutes, is you have a quarterback in Justin Fields who's not playing well. All the pressure is on him to play well. And what happens? Well, he comes out and he says to the media, I'm struggling, I'm overthinking, I'm not playing with the flow of my game. All stuff that's valid for him to say because it's true. We've watched the games. You're not playing with rhythm. You're not playing within your game. It feels robotic. He said it feels robotic. It looks robotic. Doesn't look like the Justin Fields that we came to know and love at the end of last year. And then when the media asks him, well, why do you think you could be playing so robotic? He responds with, might be coaching. And, of course, that turns into a whole you-know-what show. And the media runs with it. So much so that the quarterback has to call another press conference in his locker to be like, guys, you took this out of context. I responded, why am I overthinking? Why am I struggling? Might be coaching, meaning that I'm getting too many voices in my ear and this and that. Not that the coaching is bad, but it's just the way I'm taking all this information in. It's not landing with me. It's creating me to be robotic. I love what Justin Fields said. I love the way he said it. I'm completely fine with all of it. I support Justin Fields. There is evidence in two camps right now for why the Chicago Bears offense is so bad. The one camp is you're going to say, all right, well, Fields just isn't good. He's not playing within the scheme. He can't just play in the scheme. And you need him to just be, in order to be a successful NFL quarterback, you just need to be able to sit there in the pocket and throw dime after dime after dime after dime within the scheme. And that's it. And he can't do that. And then there's the other camp. You have like the video of like Levante David saying, well, we knew what they're calling. We knew they were going to call a screen. They lined up in the same formation again. It was obviously easy pick six to beat the Bears, Tampa to beat the Bears last week. You also have another clip of, I think, Devin White, the linebacker for Tampa, talking to DJ Moore during the game last week saying, they ain't using you right, bro. And DJ Moore going, tell me about it. I know. So you have two examples there of players in the game saying this offense is predictable and they're not even using their star players correctly. And then you have your quarterback coming out and saying, yeah, I don't feel like I'm playing my game in this offense. and what makes me successful. And that we know is factually true. Through 2 games, Justin Fields only has 13 official carries for 62 yards. That's it. Averaging 31 yards a game. That is not how you have a 1,000-yard season as a rushing quarterback, what Justin Fields did last year, which made him extremely hard to defend and extremely effective when, remember, this Bears offense with less talent was scoring 30 points a game for like a 5-game stretch. And now you look at the play calling, you look at the design. I think I saw somewhere Justin Fields was only under center twice in the game against Tampa. I mean, that's just unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. It's bad coaching. I defend the player. I stand with Justin Fields. The point, and to put the bow on this conversation, at this moment in time with the Chicago Bears, I don't think the problem is Justin Fields. I think the offensive line the remake of the offensive line has been a disaster besides your right tackle, your number 1 overall pick, Darnell Wright, who's had a couple rookie moments, but overall been very, very good. But the rest of the offensive line has been an absolute disaster, and it's not getting now any better with the fact that you lost your left tackle for the whole year in Braxton Jones. Your head coach is a defensive head coach, and his defense stinks. They give up 1 million yards, 1 million points. They can't get any stops on 3rd down, even though you invested heavily in free agency and in the draft on that defense. And you have a defensive coordinator now that's MIA. And I think those are the majority of the things to blame compared to just, blame Justin Fields, he stinks. No, I truly don't think that. Now, Justin Fields has the rest of the season to prove that he can overcome that and still be a great player in the league, because as of right now, everyone should be on the hot seat at Hallis Hall. Honestly, the only person I don't want on the hot seat is the general manager right now, Ryan Poles. I think Ryan Poles, he's made some mistakes, made some blunders, but overall, I like everything he's putting together. And people say, well, he picked Matt Eberflus. Not really. If you remember back when the Bears were hiring Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus together, Poles was hired a week before Eberflus. Eberflus had already gone through all the interviews with Bill Polian, who the Bears hired to basically find them a coach. And Bill Polian was like, yeah, you're going to hire Matt Eberflus. And then Ryan Poles had one meeting with him. Was like, all right, we're going to hire this guy. I mean, I think Eberflus, Getsy, the whole coaching staff their seat should be hotter than Justin Fields. But Justin, I hate to say this to you. I say it once. I'll say it as many times as you need. You got to overcome it. You got to play better. The organization needs you to be a superstar and to be better than what you've been. And right now, the State of the Union, the Chicago Bears, is bad. It's real ugly. And they have got to show some fight against the Chiefs. We'll talk about that game coming on up. We'll talk about all of Week 3 coming on up. We'll take a quick break. We are live and local on America's News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app. It's On the Mark, brought to you by Cunis Honda Hyundai.
At St. Jude, researchers are working around the clock to find new ways to combat the deadliest childhood cancers. This is a St. Jude moment.
My name is Joel, and I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer, and I came to St. Jude as a 7-year-old because doctors had discovered a tumor in my right shoulder. St. Jude was amazing early on. Even as a 7-year-old, they found a way to explain it to me, to have other people talk to me. That by the time I walked out of here 7 months after the amputation, I was fully adjusted using my left arm, so I could jump right back into school and have no qualms or no worries about that at all. So I'm lucky enough to be married to Lindsay, who is also another former St. Jude patient who I actually met at a St. Jude event. She was in the middle of her treatment. I had finished mine just a couple of years before and just told her I loved her. Luckily, she reciprocated, told me the same thing back, and we were fortunate enough to get married on the St. Jude campus.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
We all get hit by the storms of life.
I had noticed my legs were swelling, and we went to Maine Medical Hospital. And they said, Mr. Conquest, can you get up for your MRI? And I remember pushing up off the bed, and I fell. Next thing I know, it was 3 weeks later, and I was paralyzed. It was a pretty low point to not be able to do the things that I love to do. PVA was there the first day.
Thanks to PVA, paralyzed veterans are getting specialized medical care and treatments, the benefits they've earned, the jobs they want, and the accessible vehicles and homes they need.
PVA has brought me back to life. I've fallen a few times, and PVA is like, get up. We just keep getting up.
To learn more, go to PVA.org today.
1070 KHMO.
Welcome on back to On the Mark here on News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app, brought to you by Cunis Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. You got to stop in and ask about that lifetime powertrain warranty on new and used vehicles. It's the No Fear warranty. Over 3,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. Tell them Mark sent you. All right, let's jump into it. Hespin headline number 2. A full breakdown of Week 3 in the NFL.
Hespin's headlines on the mark.
All right. I'll start really quickly mentioning the Niners versus the Giants Thursday night football. Listen, the Giants, it's hard to get a real read on what we're going to get from the Giants the rest of the year. There was no Saquon Barkley. They played two of the best defenses in the NFL in their first 2 weeks. They had a nice comeback win against an Arizona team that punched him in the mouth early and then kind of fell apart late. The Giants are somewhere in that realm of where they're more talented than the Chicagos, the Arizonas of the NFL, but yet they are just not even close to that upper echelon of the, Eagles, Chiefs, 49ers, Miami Dolphins echelon of the NFL. They're stuck somewhere in the middle. And should we be shocked by that? No. I mean, look what they did at quarterback and what they spent their money on. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of like the Vikings or Kirk Cousins where you're just stuck in the middle because your quarterback you're spending a lot of money on is just not the type of person to elevate you in those big moments. We certainly haven't seen that at all from Daniel Jones this year. It's a rough start for the Giants. And as far as the 49ers go, listen, they are a juggernaut. I don't remember the last time in the NFL that it just seemed like there was a bully of the NFL. The Niners feel like a bully. I mean, they are so physical, and they are so talented at so many levels. Brandon Ayuk was missing in that game, and you still have Debo and Kittle and McCaffrey. It's just like there's so many layers to this team, so many levels. The offensive line, the defensive front is just nasty. So nasty. And I will say, it just feels like they're in the same spot a little bit as they've been, though, the past couple of years. Question all falls on the quarterback position. Brock Purdy at times looks bad, like small, inaccurate, not athletic. And then other times he's able to just put it on the money, be really efficient with it, and help lead the team on a drive and just get in his playmakers' hands, and they make plays. So the Niners... Listen, right now the Niners absolutely should be penciled in the NFC Championship game. But I think Brock Purdy's worth keeping an eye on how he fares through a whole NFL season. And the meat and the bones of the potatoes of, late October, November, early December football. Can he stay healthy through that? What is he like when the weather gets bad in those ways in a full season? We just don't know yet. And I think it's worth keeping an eye on. All right, let's move on. Let's start the breakdown, and we're actually starting it with my upset of the week. The Titans at the Browns, Cleveland favored by 3.5. I love the Titans getting points here. I think the Titans are going to win this game. I think even if they lose, they'll be within a field goal. So I love you're getting the 3.5. There's the value there. Listen, the Titans defense can play with anybody. The Browns offense has looked bad. Deshaun Watson has looked bad. And now they're without Nick Chubb. And I know they bring in Kareem Hunt back, and Ford was a very nice backup running back, had a nice day. But this Titans offense last week found a little bit of rhythm. Ryan Tannehill played better. I think no one's picking the Titans. No one thinks the Titans are as good as the Browns. And I think they have a real advantage here. I think that loss for Cleveland against the Steelers is a multiple week loss, meaning I think they're still reeling from that game. They're on short rest compared to the Titans. I know they're at home, but I think it's a short trip for the Tennessee Titans to get to Cleveland. I like Tennessee to go in there, Ryan Tannehill to not turn the ball over, Deshaun Watson to press, to try to be Superman, to show everyone he's not washed up, because that's what the talk has been on talk radio this week. And I think the Titans win this game. I think it's something along the lines of 27-20. A very easy, comfortable win for the Titans, where their defense plays really well against a Browns offense that can continue to struggle. And eventually, that Browns defense, can they keep the team in the game? I think they will at times during this. But I like Derrick Henry in this matchup. I like Ryan Tannehill to get the ball into DeAndre Hopkins' hands and make the plays when they need to. I'm taking the Titans over the Browns, my upset of the week. And we're going to jump right into my lock of the week. I'm back on the Detroit Lions. -3 at home against the Falcons. I think this comes down to purely the fact that the Lions are going to be able to score on the Falcons. And I just don't know if the Falcons are going to be able to score enough to keep up with the Lions. I think this game will be muddied and close to the first half. And then in the second half, the Lions just have so many weapons and are so good on offense. I just don't see the Falcons being able to score consistently. It'll be tight. Lions will get a late touchdown and cover the 3. Take the Lions, lock of the week at home against the Falcons. Are we going to see Kyle Pitts ever? Is Kyle Pitts ever going to show up? Bijan Robinson looked great in week 2. Desmond Ridder has been very, efficient and not high usage through 2 games. I think that's smart of Atlanta to do. Clearly, I think they know he's not the franchise guy. He's not going to be the next Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. But right now, he's efficient and he's helping you win games. And so they'll take that. But I think they're going to just not be able to, when they need to score, because the Lions are going to score, they're just not going to have the ability offensively to keep up the scoring with the Lions. I love the Lions. I love them at 3. So there you go. Lock of the week, Lions -3. Upset of the week, Titans 3.5, +3.5. Saints at the Packers. I love the Saints in this game. The Packers are favored by a point. I think the Saints defensively have real teeth. And I think they're going to be able to get after Jordan Love in this Packers offense. I think the Packers, listen, we still don't exactly know how this offense wants to be. And Jordan Love was not great in crunch time last week on the road. They finally are at home. I think there's some good home love for the Packers, but the Saints spoil it. I think the Saints offensively, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, they're able to move the football. Derek Carr has been able to put up yards, and I think he's going to be able to move the football in this Packers defense for sure. Can the offensive line hold up? I think it does. I trust Derek Carr more in this game to be able to put points up than I do Jordan Love. Still no Aaron Jones, I think, for the Packers. Is he back yet? I'm not sure. Even if he is, he's not 100% healthy. I'll take the Saints in an upset over the Packers in Green Bay. Broncos at the Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 6.5. This almost was my lock of the week. If it was 6, I would have probably taken it. I don't love the 6.5. I think the Broncos might be able to keep this to a 24-30 type of loss. The Broncos are not winning this game. Like, let's be honest. They're just not. If the Dolphins, knock on wood, stay healthy and nothing crazy happens, they should absolutely win this game. The Dolphins are a more physical team. They have a true identity. They have way more offensive weapons. Their offensive line is better than the Broncos' offensive line. And their quarterback right now is playing better football than Russell Wilson. Tua is having a really nice start to the season. They're at home. It is going to be 1,000,000 degrees down in Miami. They're going to show the big thermometer on the sideline. I think that's going to be a problem for Denver, going from the altitude all the way down to Miami. I love the Dolphins in this game. The Dolphins right now are for real. But similar to the Niners, how do the Dolphins translate to mid to late November, December football? I don't know. And can Tua and these speedster weapons hold up in a 17-game season? We'll talk about with the Cowboys coming on up here in a bit. So much of who is going to win this Super Bowl and who is going to be there at the end is health. And when you look at a team like Miami that is reliant so much on speed and those speed guys, those weapons, they don't ever hold up for a 17-game season, and they certainly are less effective when they're beat up. It's late in the year. It's cold. So Miami's a great story right now, but I'm not fully bought into Miami yet. I'm just being honest. In the same way I'm not bought into the Niners 100%, and that's mainly just because of Brock Purdy, though. For Miami, it's Tua, a mix of Tua, and also they are so uniquely built to be good in the beginning of the season. How does that translate to late? But this is a perfect game for Miami. If they play their game, they should absolutely beat the Broncos. The Broncos are not good right now. Defensively, they can't stop a nosebleed, and the defense is what was keeping them alive the last couple of years. Sean Payton comes in now, and their defense stinks. And offensively, late, I mean, besides that Hail Mary, you take out that lucky Hail Mary, I mean, they struggled at home against Washington. This Miami defense is just as good as Washington's defense, if not better. They have the best defensive coordinator in the league, and they're at home. So not a lot of faith in Denver this week. I like the Dolphins. Chargers, Vikings. This may be the biggest game of the weekend. Absolutely the biggest game of the weekend. Both teams 0-2. Both teams were in the playoffs last year. Both teams had high expectations to start this year. Both teams have had massive disappointing starts to the year. Vikings 0-2. Kirk Cousins is 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 700 yards through 2 games. He's been terrific. But a couple fumbles, turnovers, and the Minnesota Vikings defense, Brian Flores was brought in, and everyone's keep telling me, oh, Brian Flores is going to change that defense. They have not looked good. They have not looked good at all. They don't have go-to playmakers on that defense that can just like Myles Garrett, TJ Watt a play and blow something up and change the momentum of a game. They just don't have it. And then on the Chargers side, they have the names, but the names just aren't playing well. The Bosas, the Max, the Derwin James, all that, they have them. They're just not playing well. Offensively, this should be a fun game. I mean, both teams' offenses are incredible. Both teams' offenses can score in bunches. Both teams have great wide receiver cores and quarterbacks who love getting the ball into their weapons' hands. I think this is going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be kind of a crazy shootout game. I'm going with the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers to win in Minnesota. The reason why, I think the Chargers defense will be able to make a play when it's needed. It's going to be high scoring. It's going to be close. Chargers win 33-30 on a late field goal drive from Justin Herbert because their defense made the play to stop the drive. Kirk fumble or interception, a big sack. Someone on the Chargers defense is going to make a play. They're going to show up and help this offense out. No one on the Vikings defense is going to do that. So I'm going to take the Chargers in a close one, in a fun game. That is definitely the noon game to have on your television because it means so much. Big names. And the loser of that game, falling 0-3, their season is in a complete free-for-all, and I think it's going to be the Vikings. Patriots at the Jets. 1-1 Jets, 0-2 Patriots. Patriots are favored by 2.5. They should be. And I like the Pats. I think the Pats absolutely win this game. It's a coaching mismatch, obviously, Bill Belichick versus Robert Saleh. And then I think it's a quarterback mismatch as well. Mac Jones is not terrific, and that offense for the Patriots struggles. And the best unit on this field is going to be the Jets defense, and they're at home. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be ugly. I think both offenses are going to struggle. But when it comes down to it, who do you trust to actually make a drive and make plays and make the throws that need to win a game? Well, I certainly trust Mac Jones right now over Zach Wilson, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think Belichick's going to make Zach Wilson's life a living hell. I think he's going to struggle, and I think Mac Jones is going to not play great. You're not going to be a 300-yard, 3-touchdown game day, but he's going to make enough plays to actually win the Patriots the football game. Low scoring, ugly, 20-14 Patriots win in New York. Bills, Commanders, another really interesting game to keep an eye on, and this will be on CBS. So I would, if I were you so far in the noon slate, I'd have it CBS, Commanders, Bills, Fox, Chargers, Vikings, kind of flipping back and forth between those two games. Listen, I like the Bills here. They're favored by 6. I think that's a slight insult. I think the Commanders are going to take that personally. The Commanders can score. I mean, Eric Bieniemy, what he's done with this offense has been very impressive. Sam Howell has played really well, but I think Buffalo found their groove. I think Buffalo is a wagon offensively. What the Commanders' defense does well, I think Buffalo can negate. I think they can make plays, big plays over the top in their offensive line if their offensive line can hold up against the pass rush, and I think it will. In this game, for me, it really comes down to the fact that Josh Allen versus Sam Howell. Yeah, I'm going with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, really big bounce back week 2. Josh Allen, this is the type of game where he's going to make a crazy play at some point in time. He'll have another really ugly turnover at some point in time. But the Bills will be able to put up points more consistently, I think, than the Commanders in this game. It's tight. It's a crazy watch. I'll take the Bills 27, Commanders 24. Commanders cover, Bills win. I think it's the Commanders scoring late to make it a closer game. I think the Bills will be in control. Josh Allen will have a nice day overall. I'll roll with the Bills. Texans, Jags. C.J. Stroud, he's actually had a really nice start to his career. Overall, they're putting way too much on this kid's plate. I don't know why he's throwing the ball so much. Over 40-plus times each game. He's got over 626 passing yards so far in his first 2 games. I think C.J. Stroud is looking like a real player. Problem is right now, they just got to get the ball out of his hands. Run the football for the love of you-know-what, Texans. Help your young quarterback out. Bad time to do it on the road in the heat at Jacksonville. The Jags are going to roll in this game. Trevor Lawrence, the offense, is going to bounce back, get everything righted after that really ugly performance at home against the Chiefs. I like the Jags. Take care of the Texans. C.J. Stroud playing well to start his career. I think he's like 14 pass attempts away or something like that from most pass attempts to start a career without an interception for a rookie quarterback. He's not turning the ball over, even though they're asking him to throw the ball 1 million times. Right now, consistently, I think he's the best-looking rookie quarterback. Anthony Richardson has been flashes, great, but already going to miss a game because of injury because he's not taking care of himself. And Bryce Young is just small and efficient, but has got no talent around him and he's struggling. Right now, C.J. Stroud is playing okay with no talent around him. He's not struggling with no talent around him. Colts, Ravens, again, no Anthony Richardson in this game. But the Ravens are missing a ton of starters. This is a total trap game. Baltimore's favored by 8. I definitely think Indianapolis is going to stay in this game and keep it close. I think this game will be Lamar Jackson makes one big play at the end, field goal. Justin Tucker helps the Ravens win at home. The Ravens are missing a ton of starters. Gardner Minshew is a total professional NFL quarterback. He's going to have this Colts team ready to go. I think you're going to, especially because he's been slated to start like all week. I think you're going to see this Colts team come out inspired, maybe and have a lead at some point in time. Ravens win in a late field goal, 24-21 over the Colts. The Colts play well without Anthony Richardson. They play inspired, but I like the Ravens overall. Lamar Jackson, a great start to the year for him. He's been really developing that passing game. I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. is playing. I don't think that should be an issue. Mark Andrews, big day. Zay Flowers, big day. Ravens beat the Colts. Colts, though, surprise a lot of people. That's a tasty number. I didn't go with it as my upset. As I said earlier, I'm taking the Titans 3.5 as my official upset. But I think there's a lot of value on the Colts plus 8. Don't doubt Gardner Minshew to just keep this game close, give his team a chance to win. But the Ravens, Lamar will make the plays at the end. 0-2 Panthers at the Seahawks. This is a tough spot for the Panthers. I love Seattle in this matchup. 5.5 the line, really good value. I think Seattle covers. I think it's again, Andy Dalton starting this game for Bryce Young. Bryce Young already injured. Has just looked small, has looked inaccurate at times, but he's throwing to no one. I mean, the Panthers have they are zero playmakers on that offense. Miles Sanders is a nice running back, but zero playmakers on that offense. There was some stuff online, people being like, oh, the Bears, you gave up the number 1 pick and you kept Justin Fields. Look how bad he is. Yeah, the Bears, the best thing they did was get DJ Moore and give up that number 1 pick. Right now, as a Bears fan, would any of you be happy if you had C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, or Anthony Richardson? Yeah. Especially with the fact that the talent coming into at the quarterback position next year, you'd much rather have the 2 picks next year and roll with it. So that whole narrative to me is stupid. But back to this actual game, Andy Dalton's going to play. I think he'll get the team inspired. The offense will look like it really can move early on. I think it's low scoring. I think maybe like 10-13 at half, maybe in the Panthers leading. But then watch as Seattle takes care of business in the second half. They're at home. Really tough travel for the Panthers. Andy Dalton, very immobile. I think he'll make a mistake at some point in time. And you'll see a Seattle team that can really score points, and Geno Smith put up some big points in the second half, pull away from the Panthers. I think they'll cover the number as well. That was my second favorite lock of the week behind the Lions -3. So I would suggest, if you're looking for value plays, that Colts +8, Seattle -5.5. There's some real tasty options out there. All right, we got to talk about it. 0-2 Bears at the 1-1 Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 12.5. It should be more. I got to be honest. There's a lot of people who are saying, "Oh, but there's value with the Bears plus 12.5. They're going to come out inspired." Maybe look at the point spread in the first half. Maybe the Bears come out and they have somehow find a way to lead, 13-10 at half because Mahomes is just, playing a little shaky, or they get a lucky turnover and the Bears come out inspired. The Chiefs are going to probably cover the 12.5. I see this game ending up 34-20 if the Bears are lucky and they, and fighting, maybe scrapping at the end. That's my prediction on this game. What I want to see from this game is I want to see a Bears team that plays a full 4 quarters and competitive. I'd be very, very ecstatic as a Bears fan for this game to be a 23-20 loss on the road. That the defense comes out, they actually show some teeth, they actually make some plays, they actually get a turnover or two, and the Justin Fields puts his team in a position to, win, puts a late score to maybe take the lead, and then Patrick Mahomes goes on a Patrick Mahomes drive to win the game. I can live with that. What I will be furious about is if it's 24-0 at halftime, the Bears have nothing but just shotgun spread plays, and they're making Justin Fields throw the ball, screen passes, and BS like they have been, and the defense is just a total dam collapse, and it breaks open. That'll tick me off because that is, again, coaching. Like, if you're going to lose the game because you don't have enough talent, that's one thing, right? That's you lost, but you fought, and you just don't have enough talent as Kansas City. No one's going to blame you for that. But just getting embarrassed at a coaching level, that will frustrate me as a fan because then you have to find a new coaching staff. And you're 3 weeks into a year knowing that your coaching staff is not good enough to be a coaching staff at the NFL level. And so that's what I'm keeping an eye for. I think that if you made me try to predict a score, 34-20. That's my guess. I think the Bears can score. I think they will play inspired. I think Justin Fields will come out hot, and then the Chiefs will just break it open because this Bears defense stinks, and it's the Chiefs. So I think the Chiefs will end up covering the 12.5. Cowboys, Cardinals. Listen, Trayvon Diggs is a huge loss for the Cowboys. It is such a bummer to lose a star player in practice. At least if you lose him in a game, you can kind of justify it, right? You see it happen. It's a fluke in this game, whatever. But it's a tough spot for the Giants, for the Cardinals, obviously at home against a very good Dallas team. What I'll be interested in is Dallas's defense. Are they woe is me? We lost Trayvon Diggs, or does someone else step up? And on the flip side of that, this Dallas offense has had to do nothing so far this year. Dak Prescott hasn't even thrown for 400 yards yet on the season. No interceptions also for Dak. That's a great thing. He's living up to his promise of no interceptions, but it's been very vanilla because they haven't had to do anything. So will there be a moment where the Dallas defense maybe gives up a big play or something because they're missing one of their star players, and Dallas has to go out there and put a drive together. I don't know. I just don't think the Cardinals are talented enough to put that pressure on Dallas. I think Dallas rolls fairly easily, 24-10 win on the road against the Cardinals. I think this Dallas seems a big mystery to me. I'm not all in yet on Dallas. I don't trust Dak Prescott, and now you're without Trayvon Diggs. That's huge. That matters. Sunday Night Football, the Steelers at the Raiders. I like the Raiders. I don't know why, but there's something in my gut telling me we got to watch Kenny Pickett on primetime again. The Steelers' offense has been bad. The Steelers' defense can win you games at home with bad offense. I don't think the Steelers' defense can win you games on the road with this bad offense. And I know the Raiders' defense stinks, but people have written off the Raiders. The Raiders were on the road at Buffalo last week and got blown out. This is a classic NFL matchup rivalry. I trust the Raiders' offense to be better than the Steelers' offense. And I know the Steelers' defense is better than the Raiders' defense, but the Raiders are at home. It's a primetime game. I think Kenny Pickett plays better, but I'll take the Raiders' upset win over the Steelers. I trust their offense more than I trust Matt Canada and the Steelers right now. I think this is a weird trap game for the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. 2 Monday Night Football games. I hate the 2 Monday Night Football game thing they're doing, but oh well. Eagles at the Bucks. This is a huge game for the Buccaneers. Are the Buccaneers for real? You're at home, primetime, against a more talented opponent. The Bucs could really prove to the NFL world and people like me that they're for real with a win in this game. I don't think they're for real. I love the Eagles on primetime at Tampa. I think the Eagles absolutely show up and show out, take care of the Bucs. Defensive line is going to feast on Baker Mayfield. Offensive line is going to be able to control that aging Tampa defense. I love the Eagles in prime time to take care of Tampa. And then the Rams-Bengals. Listen, Joey B is injured, does not look good. I like the Rams to win on the road against the Bengals. Matt Stafford's healthier right now. This Rams team put up a really nice fight against the dominant San Francisco defense last week. They get an extra day of rest. I like the Rams traveling in prime time, Sean McVay, in a rematch of the Super Bowl to get a victory against the Bengals. I think the Bengals might fall to 0-3. Now, if Joe Burrow is healthy and comes out 100% healthy and looks great in warm-ups, then I might last minute change this pick. But right now, I like the Rams. All right, there is your official Week 3 NFL preview. Again, for the people following along, I'm 0-3-1 on the season on my picks. I give you 2 picks a week, a lock of the week. That's a favorite to cover their spread, and an upset, and that is a team they don't have to win. They just got to be within that point total. I'm taking the Titans plus 3.5. I think the Titans beat the Browns, but if they lose, it's definitely a field goal or less. And then my lock of the week is the Lions minus 3. I don't think Atlanta's going to be able to score with the Lions at home. Lions will win by at least 4 or 5 points. All right, when we come back, a quick check of college football this weekend. We're live and local in America's News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app. It's on the mark.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
From the Salvation Army, welcome to Heartbeat. Aromatherapy uses the natural oils extracted from flowers, bark, and stems to enhance our psychological and physical well-being. The inhaled aroma from these essential oils is soothing and is widely believed to stimulate brain function. The Bible says that believers are the aroma of Christ to the people we encounter. As we produce the fruit of His Spirit, God uses us to enhance the spiritual well-being of the people around us. He uses our witness to stimulate soul function, just like essential oils stimulate brain function. We're like spiritual aromatherapists, spreading His fragrance. Let's wear Him well.
For more episodes of Heartbeat, visit SalvationArmyRadio.org.
Her words weren't written under peaceful shade, but under fear for her life.
I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains.
The words of Anne Frank continue to fill us with hope. Hope. Pass it on from PassItOn.com.
Hi, this is Jason
Biology forecast from the News Talk 1070 KHMO Weather Center. Mainly sunny skies and calm today with daytime highs approaching 87. Southeasterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tonight, 66. Chance for scattered storms again tomorrow, 80. Right now, 72.
Welcome on back to On the Mark here on News Talk 1070 KHMO on the KHMO app. We'll be back after this quick break.
A lot of schools talk.
He's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. I was our troops built this house, and my dad can get through the wide doorways. He can reach anything.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
1070 KHMO.
Welcome on back to On the Mark here on News Talk 1070 KHMO. The KHMO app brought to you by Cunis Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the Tri-State area, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. They are the buying center of the Tri-States. If you're selling, they're buying. Stop by the dealership. Tell them Mark sent you. Shop online at shopcunis.com. Check out everything they have under one roof. Huge college football slate today. Number 4, FSU at Clemson. A chance for Clemson to save their season. Rival at home, upset Florida State and kind of kick them out of the playoff picture. This is everything for Dabo Swinney and Clemson. The problem is I just don't think they're that good. I like Florida State in this game. The must-watch game of the day, obviously, Colorado undefeated 19, 3-0, at number 10, 3-0 Oregon. If Deion and Colorado upset Oregon in Eugene, then we're talking about one of the most incredible storylines in the history of college football. For this one-win team last year to start 4-0 with a win against some huge opponents, including a real team in Oregon. Oregon's a real team on the road. It's one of the craziest college football stories of my lifetime. I mean, it's up there with Tim Tebow and the way you'll talk about the lore of that. I think Oregon wins, though. I think it's just too much NFL talent in the trenches that Oregon has that Colorado doesn't. Number 6, Ohio State, 3-0 at 4-0, number 9, Notre Dame. Huge game. Notre Dame, if they win, that they are legit in the playoff contention and talk. Ohio State, if they win on the road at Notre Dame, then Ohio State could end up being the number 1 or 2 ranked team in the country after this week. A huge game. Big quarterback matchup. Both these guys have a lot to prove. Number 15, Ole Miss 3-0 at Bama 13, 2-1. This is a huge game for Bama. I mean, you have a chance to get your season back on track, beating a rival, beating a ranked opponent. And if you're Ole Miss, can you finally get over the Bama hump? Can you kick them while they're down? And they seem vulnerable. That'll be an interesting one to watch. And in a late Big Ten game, number 24, 3-0 Iowa at number 7, 3-0 Penn State. Again, if Penn State puts up a big number and beats up on Iowa, they'll launch up the polls. And Iowa has a chance to upset Penn State's season and give themselves some real credibility as far as a Big Ten title goes. My Cubs are on life support. 1 game up. Huge series against Colorado. They got to survive. Come on, Cubs, make the playoffs. I need something to be excited about here in Chicago sports because it is dire for me right now. And now the Bulls are about to start in a month. And you know that's not going to be good. Enjoy it. Have a great weekend of football. Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Mark Hessman. It's On the Mark on News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app.
Rottweiler